Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fortin, and we are here for a poetry discussion. We've got new videos on the channel Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays are for poetry. And this poem comes to us from the mind of Charles Bukowski in the collection, which is The Pleasures of the Damned. It happens on page 157 and 158, pages 157 and 158. The poem in question is The Souls of Dead Animals, and it reads as such. After the slaughterhouse, there was a bar around the corner, and I sat in there and watched the sun go down through the window. A window that overlooked a lot of tall, dry weeds. I never showered with the boys at the plant after work, so I smelled of sweat and blood. The smell of sweat lessens after a while, but the blood smell begins to fulminate and gain power. I smoked cigarettes and drank beer until I felt good enough to board the bus with the souls of all those dead animals riding with me. Heads would turn slightly. Women would rise and move away from me. When I got off the bus, I only had a block to walk and one stairway up to my room, where I'd turn on my radio and light a cigarette, and nobody minded me at all. The strange thing to me about this poem is that it begins with an overwhelming sense of being surrounded. We get the souls of dead animals. That's the title, very title of the poem, right up there, right up front. After the slaughterhouse. So we know that the souls of dead animals are the souls riding with us. We get this overwhelming sense of surroundedness, being watched, being hovered over. And then we sit in the bar and have you ever had one of those jobs that leaves you utterly unpresentable? So I took a gap year sort of after getting my bachelor's and before moving off to get my master's degree, and there was a couple summers in that year, and during the summers I would work scraping and painting a house. It was a house from the 30s, 3 stories, slate wood this wide, but your scraper is this wide, so every bit of wood on the outside of the house you're going over 3, 4, 5 times to get as much paint off as possible. Then you paint it, whatever. But I would just be covered in paint, just miserable, covered in paint and flakes of paint. I looked like someone. You remember Jackass, when they used to throw was it powdered sugar on each other? Was it flour? I think it was flour. They would antique each other, throw flour. I looked like that. And this was the summer of 11 and 12. And what that meant in St. Joseph, Missouri, was that meant it was 100 degrees every day. And I would be just irredeemable. And I would... So I would go to, I liked getting Subway sandwiches. And there was this one day, here's the thing, when you're that guy, nobody fucks with you. Nobody fucks with you. So here I am, smelling probably to high heaven. My nose is filled with powdered paint, so I don't know. Looking like all hell. Not even that all hell had broke loose, looking like all hell was rightly contained where it belonged. And I would stumble into the Subway and I would get my sandwich. And one day, I think I've told this story on the channel once or twice, some fucking Karen, some princess of a 25-year-old woman came in, and she was yelling at all the the ladies that worked there, this is the wrong this is the wrong that, and I couldn't take it. I can't, anytime something like that happens and someone is berating a waiter or a cashier, this, that, the other, the prick in me is going to come out, and you're going to hear about it, because I've been that guy that has to stand there and take it. And I said, I was halfway across the restaurant. I said, lady, it's a fucking sandwich. I think I said, if you wanted it done right, you should have made it yourself, or fucking something. I said something just prickish. And you could tell the ladies at the Subway did not appreciate that either, because that never solves anything. And I don't know why I do it. Other than, like, the next time that person is out and is going to pick on somebody at work, they're going to have to look around and make sure my ass isn't there. They're going to remember that. I don't remember what she said something snarky to me, but she wouldn't look at me. And she walked off, stormed out, and sat in her car staring at me from outside. So she's fucking 2 panes of glass away, right? Like that's going to stop me. But she was pretty sure she was safe inside the car. And anyway, when you're that guy, like Bukowski is here, covered in sweat, covered in blood, smells to high hell, you are unambiguous. And you're not hiding. You're not hiding anywhere. People know you're there. So we have, at the beginning of this poem, this overwhelming sense of sticking out, of being surrounded, sticking out, of being watched, really. When you talk about the souls of dead animals, you're not talking about passing on. The souls of dead animals here are mentioned in relation to their blood, which gives us the very overwhelming sense that those animals are sticking around looking at you. Why? Because you work at the slaughterhouse. You are not innocent in this, right? There is tinged with guilt, the speaker in this poem. So we start this poem surrounded. We've got the ghosts of dead animals, their souls. Then we go to the bar. You're that guy at the bar. People are trying to smoke and drink and have a good time, maybe eat some of the bar fries or whatever it is that's served up. Not next to you. Not next to you, they aren't. Then we're on the bus, surrounded by people who really don't want to be there with you, trapped in with you, people who are trapped in with you. And then at the end of this poem, we're alone. The funny thing is, it's not just that he doesn't shower with the boys at the slaughterhouse. He hasn't showered by the time he got home either. If there were the souls of dead animals, where have they gone? Are they alone with him? Is he alone with them? Does he not mind them? At the very end, I'd turn on my radio and light a cigarette, and nobody minded me at all. That seemed to suggest that even the souls of dead animals have been left behind, despite the fact that their blood is still with him, despite the fact that he still smells like the slaughterhouse. So what does that suggest? Does it suggest that the souls of dead animals are the expectations of society? Does it suggest that he doesn't mind them? I'm not sure. But he's still wearing that blood. His apartment must smell to high hell, but he's still wearing that blood. The blood which is fulminating, as he calls it. I think it's commentary on what types of people it takes to do certain types of work. There's a lot of Bukowski poetry where he is at great odds with his job. Hell, there's Bukowski Books, Post Office, where he is at great odds with his job. It's not the case here. It does not seem. It seems he is somewhat at peace, as if he feels he belongs to that job. He doesn't even feel the need, the necessity, to wash it off of him before he leaves the goddamn place. All the other boys there wash it off of them before they leave. So, I think that feeling at the end, nobody minded me at all, because I was alone, being the wretch that I deserve to be, is sort of the commentary that Bukowski is laying here. That maybe he is the dredge of society. Maybe he is the all-seeing, all-knowing scum of the earth. And maybe that's where he deserves to be. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. I have new videos on this channel Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays are for poetry. I have new videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my personal channel, a link to which can be found in the description below. I hope to see you here for the next video and over there as well.